Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely right. Couldn't be better. Thanks for having me. Cool. Okay. Fantastic. I cannot dispute that fact, so I'll take your word for it. You are the biggest fan. Thanks for watching and listening. And if you weren't watching Sonic and playing games, there'd be no point in me being here. Oh no.
Goddamn. Sorry, guys. I was muted. You weren't muted, Mike. I was muted. Sorry. We're good.
He
I
said some
apologize.
horrible things. It was terrible.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding. It's not true. It's not true.
god. We have fun here. We have fun here. Good thing I was checking my messages. Oh boy. So yes, let's begin this interview, shall we? So
Please.
I have them like separated into individual categories, with one being
Okay.
industry, one being gaming, and one being like what do you do in your spare time. Now I do
Mm-hmm.
know that you're not much of a gamer, so we're going
Mm-hmm.
to work with that. But let's begin with the industry questions. So number
Sure.
one, how many tries do you get to redo a line when you're in the booth?
I do it until I get it right. The whole point of me being there is until the client, the producer, the director, until they get what they want, they don't want me to leave. So I get as many tries as I need. So how many tries do I need? Depends on the line. Usually in Sonic, it's one or two takes. Um, for the games, I will give the director two or three in a row, just as a matter of course. If he doesn't like the first two or three, I give another set of two or three. And generally, so a total of those two attempts of a total of six reads usually works. But obviously, if they don't like it, they're not going to settle. Then no, try like this. I'll try like that.
Okay, okay, that's pretty good insight. So, is there ever a time when you were like, "Oh, I got that line like really good," but they're all like, "Nope, you gotta redo that one." Like, and you thought to yourself, like, "I thought that was really good, though."
Yeah, once in a while, it's a very collaborative process. If I don't like my read, I'll say, "Can I try that again?" They'll say, "Sure," and or they may say, "No, we got it." Well, all right, it's your game. You take it.
All right, all right. It sounds pretty relaxed actually, because it's
Mhm.
like it's not too much stress on you, you know. So,
It's it's the real work is looking for the work. The work itself is play.
got it, got it. Okay, okay. So this is gonna lead me into my next question. What is the weirdest experience you've had while you were voice acting?
Probably the audition for the chicken being boiled alive. Didn't book it, but I had fun in the audition.
Chicken being boiled alive. Was this
So I
for
still
a
on it.
show or?
It was for some show of some kind. It was close to 20 years ago, so I don't remember the details.
Oh
I
wow.
just remember that the audition existed, and they asked me to do it, and I did what I thought I could do, and they apparently didn't care for it.
All
That's
right.
the break.
Okay, okay. Moving on to the next question. Have you ever been recognized by your voice in normal everyday life?
Very rarely. I'm recognized on sight occasionally from people who have seen me. Um, I've not really been recognized by voice. I've been recognized by either sight or by name. Airport security once said, Pollock, your relation to Mike Pollock? Said, These Mike. Hi, how are you? So, yeah, but not usually by voice alone because I'm not usually going around in character.
Right, right. And what I noticed is when I'm on Twitter, a lot of people are like showing like these clips of animes, and they're all like, "Wait, that voice sounds a little familiar. Is that Mike Pollock?" And then everyone's
Mm-hmm.
all like, "Oh shoot, it is!" So like, you've
Mm-hmm.
been in a number of things, right?
I love working. Most people don't realize that the work that you hear takes a matter of hours, if that. So you may sit and play a game over and over again, but my time in the studio recording that game is usually 4 hours or fewer. So there's plenty of time in the rest of the day and the rest of the week to fill it up with other work. That's the goal of an actor, actors, or freelancers, and especially voice actors, where the jobs are very, very short lived. We make sure to fill up the rest of our free time with more work.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. So there's never ever like a time where it's like months in between where it's like, dang, I cannot find a voice acting job because like you have all this experience where it's like people know who you are and like you've made a name for yourself.
It's very cyclical, and a lot of the stuff that I audition for, it's not for people who know me for other stuff. I'm just a voice in the crowd.
Oh,
So if nobody wants the sound that I have, they're not going to cast me. So it's some weeks are busy, some weeks are not so busy, and it's just the nature of the business.
it's amazing. Okay, okay.
Mm.
I see that my chat says it still shocks me how he was the narrator from Pokemon.
For a couple years, yes, I was the original narrator. Took a much needed break, and I stepped in, and then I stepped out again when he returned.
Nice, nice. Well, that's good. Really good to hear.
Thank you.
So next question is, what in your life experience was most helpful to you in becoming a voice actor?
Acting. I did community theater. I did school theater. I learned how to act. So when I started my early years of radio, where I did some acting in commercials and stuff on the side, but when I finally got into a booth to do anime dubbing and Pokemon, the director already knew that I could act. So that was half the battle, because it's not just about doing a wacky voice; it's being able to act with that voice. So if you want to
Exactly.
do this, please learn to act. The
Yeah.
director will appreciate it.
Exactly, exactly. Everyone get some experience, get some practice, okay? And
Hmm.
you'll probably do better.
Best
So,
of luck.
next question, and we're gonna dive into Dr. Eggman right now.
Cool.
Is how do you prepare yourself when you're voicing Dr. Eggman? Like, do you like try to get your voice or mindset in the mind of Dr. Eggman, or
For the sake of my vocal cords, I should probably prepare more than I do, but I've been doing it for so long, I could just walk into the booth and see the script and look, I'm in character now.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh man, I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
So next question is, do you ever have any input on Dr. Eggman's actions in the games, like perhaps certain mannerisms that he has in his voice, or like that's
Not
like stayed with the
huge.
series?
Not usually. The games are scripted. When I get there, I may ad lib something. If they choose to use it, great. Chances are they won't. But no, the games are pretty fully formed. But again, the collaborative process of director and actor together, we come up with something that works for both of us. But usually, most of the stuff that you hear is already there when I get there.
Okay, okay. That actually like leads me to another question down the road of like, where was it? Where was it? Somewhere around here. Ah, are there? Oh, actually, it's the next question. Are there any moments you've improv your lines and it's made it into the final product?
The one that I can think of is in an episode of Sonic Boom. I should know the name of the other characters because I keep referring to it. But Wally Wingert was playing a sort of militaristic general sounding guy, and he was from the old school where he would pronounce the word robot as robot, which you don't hear very often anymore. But that was a character choice for this voice that he did. And as I was listening to one of his lines that I was about to respond to, I thought, well, it'd be funny if I pronounced it the same way. So Dr. Eggman responded with a line of something like, something about your robot. The producer liked it so much, he left it in. That was a win.
Nice, nice. Oh, that's really awesome. So when it came to the show Sonic Boom, like that's one of the like most funniest Sonic shows that the community like agrees on.
Hmm.
So a lot of it was just like actual script, or what would you say is more script and more improv with Sonic Boom?
When we were workshopping it before it was ready for air, we tried to do it in improv. It didn't work to the satisfaction of the various producers. So it was all scripted. We would occasionally veer off. And again, if the producer liked it, they kept it in. But very often the scripts were written very tightly to time. So if there was not enough room in the, yeah, how long are episodes? 7 minutes. If there was not enough room to spare, any ad libs got cut out.
Okay, okay. And do you ever hope for a third season of Sonic Boom?
I love working. I love Sonic Boom. It would be a wonderful thing to happen, but so beyond my control.
Yeah, yeah. That is true. What were your next question is what were your first impressions when you initially learned about Dr. Eggman?
I had probably heard about him in passing. I had definitely heard about Sonic the Hedgehog in passing, and I had not heard much about Dr. Eggman except what I was told during the audition process, and that he was an evil villain intent on getting that hedgehog. And I was given voice samples of Dean Bristow to match. So I went home and I'm Dean Bristow. And then I went back and I gave them the impression I thought they wanted. They brought me back for a callback. They brought me back for a second callback. And after the third time in the booth, I guess Sega was finally convinced, and here I am.
Nice, nice. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people have said like what was it from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog? Like that Eggman sounded like, oh my god, that's threatening. I have nightmares of that Eggman. But then this one's like a little bit more funny, but he does have his moments. So like,
It's whatever the script requires. If the script wants threatening, I give it threatening. But if the script wants comedy and I give it threatening, that's not going to work comedically. So there have been moments in assorted games, both official and not so official, where Eggman gets malevolent, and I do the malevolent. Hello, words. The malevolent thing.
okay, okay, learning a lot right now.
Hmm?
I marked off the wrong question. How did Sega decide to have you voice Dr. Eggman?
Just like any other audition process or just like any other job, producers hire the person they want. In the case of voiceover, it's the sound they want. So they heard my audition, and I was the sound they wanted for the first few episodes of Sonic X. If you listen back, you'll hear it was a pretty straight Dean Bristow impression. And then the director and producer came to me and said, "We want to tweak the voice a little bit, add some peaks and valleys, like Jiminy Glick's, like Martin Short's Jiminy Glick character, who starts up way up high and then goes way down low." So I added more peaks and valleys, and that's been pretty much the template I've been following. And then in 2010, there was the big recasting of 2010. One of my agents was contacted by Sega, and the agent contacted me and said, "I've got this audition. I think it's for a character you've done before, a Dr. Eggman." Dr. Eggman. I thought I was still doing that, but okay. I re-auditioned, gave them what I'd been doing for the past 7 years at that time, and they apparently liked it enough again to hire me again.
So do you ever worry that like maybe one day you'll stop being the voice of Dr. Eggman?
Just like any gig, I serve at the pleasure of the people in charge. So I'm there until they want me. I serve for as long as they'll have me.
Got it,
Should that
got it.
happen, it's their choice. It's not my character. It's not my property. If you paint your house, you pick the color. You don't wait for the guy painting the house to say this would be good in blue. It's your house. You do what you want with it.
That's true. That's true. So next question is: as a voice actor, are you in charge of the guidelines when you're voicing Eggman? Like you put out your own guidelines, or does Sega themselves say like, "Hey, you need to like have like it's a certain like set of rules that you need to follow when voicing the character"?
It's their character. When I'm recording, somebody from Sega is there, the director, the producer.
Mm.
There's usually a team of people behind the glass listening. So they're the ones who would say at that point, "No, that's not what we had in mind," or "No, we can't do that." But as far as just life in general, when Sega's not around, it's their character. He doesn't belong to me. I treat it lovingly with kid gloves. I just, if you were driving the UPS truck for UPS, you couldn't just take it tooling down the highway on your day off. Or if somebody trusts you to valet park their car, you don't take the car on a joyride. It's not my property. Treat it with respect.
I like that. That's a good analogy. Very nice thinking.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next question, we're still in
Sure.
the industry section, is if I know you said like it's not your property and all that, but personally, if you could change one part of Eggman's design, what would it be?
You shouldn't yell so much. It hurts.
It hurts. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Oh man. Next question is: have you ever wanted to be the voice for another Sonic character other than Ella? Because we know you voiced Ella.
Well, there is Ella. There is also in Sonic Boom, Fastidious Beaver and the Mayor.
Oh, that's
Uh,
true. That's true.
so if given the choice, if I could do the same voice that TV's Andrew Reynolds could do for Bokoon on Sonic X, I would have done Bokoon. But I can't do that voice. Even even when I was younger and hadn't been yelling for the past 20 years, I couldn't do that voice. So that voice that he did all by himself with no electronic trickery was hysterical and amazing.
That does sound amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
it's beautiful. Next question is: are you selective about the roles you take on? Like, what is your criteria for accepting a new voice acting opportunity?
I'm getting more selective in my old age, and as the industry gets a little more woke, as the kids say. Um, in the previous mindset was you never know where your next paycheck is coming from. Take any job you can. But these days, especially with the proliferation of the online casting sites, the industry is seeing a downturn in rates. And we are professionals. We know our worth. We should be paid a certain amount. So without calling out any particular website that references $5 in its name, folks who are on there charging pennies on the dollar, and people are paying that because it's cheap, it drags the entire industry down. So I'm now a part of the coalition of dubbing actors, among other organizations, at codaunite.com, org, something. I should know that. Where we are fighting for industry standard rates for dubbing and other related projects. So I am now paying more attention to this is not the right rate. This should be paying more for the amount of use it's going to get. This is not quite a fair rate. So I've turned down a lot of work this year.
Well, that's good that you're actually like trying to fight for not only yourself but like people like you. So
Yeah,
you're
the
fighting a good
struggle
fight.
is suddenly real.
Okay, okay. But I hope you could get good luck and all that, you know. So
Thank you.
like,
The various studios will soon come to their senses and say, yeah, I guess we should be paying more than we're paying. Oh, all right.
yeah,
We can only hope.
exactly. Oh, my chat says voice actors union.
There's
um,
that too. There's SAG and AFTRA and the SAG AFTRA union, but there's also CODA, which is new.
okay, okay. Uh, let's see. Wait, what? Oh, okay. What do you? Next question is, what do you think of Sonic fan projects? Like, I know there's Sonic and Tails R that you're in. So
Hmm.
like, what's your opinion on fan projects like that?
I'm very selective about being involved in them. Um, Part of the reason is there, if you go to Sega's website, dig down through the terms and conditions, there is a whole section on unsolicited ideas. So getting ideas from fans that nobody asked for, the problem with that is that if Sega releases something that's similar to an idea that a fan submitted, the fan could say, "Hey, that's my idea. You owe me money." So generally, most companies in the entertainment and intellectual property world say, "Don't send us stuff we don't ask for because we'll just send it right back to you without looking at it to avoid legal problems." So I try not to see too much fan stuff, generally because I'm not interested in the franchise and the content in the same way as fans are. I mean, I'm interested in on a professional level when I'm working on it, but it doesn't consume my life because I'm working on tons of other things throughout the year. So I'm not usually looking for Sonic material for entertainment in the same way that a fan would be. And then for the fan things that I've been involved in, which are few and far between, I've been pressured by others involved, and especially in light of the recent pandemic when the world could use a lift, didn't say no at that time.
Okay, okay. That's very insightful. I know like when I was a kid, I'm definitely guilty of sending ideas to Sega saying like, "Hey, can you do this? I have it all written down. Here's the whole list and everything." So I guess like
Mm-hmm.
because of the terms and conditions, they are never going to do that now.
Thanks, but
So,
no thanks. Sega's in a weird position because they accept fan stuff and fan art, but and I don't try and meddle in how they accept those things. But I've seen the terms and conditions, and I think, yeah, that's probably good advice.
mhm,
The other problem with fan stuff is I don't want to contradict Sega's ideas of the characters.
right.
So I don't want to learn too much and do too much of my own research because the character may be going in a different direction than what I've got in my head, and that's just going to lead to problems.
I see. I see. Interesting. Okay. This is really good info, guys. This is really good info.
I hope
So the
so.
last question of the industry section is: do you ever
Mm-hmm.
get exclusive Sonic merch?
Got a pair of the Eggman sneakers, the
Oh yeah,
Puma
I remember
sneakers.
those.
They're still safe in their box. And I get occasionally games and the little commemorative medallions and stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but every once in a while, if there's a surplus in the warehouse, something might show up on the doorstep.
Nice, nice. Very lucky. You're very lucky.
Hmm. I'm I'm the luckiest boy alive.
So now we're moving on to the game-related questions, and I had a little bit more, but after doing a little bit more research on your website, I narrowed it down to three. So number one is, what would you say is Dr. Eggman's favorite hobby?
Um, that's a great question. Uh, I would say finding ways to get that hedgehog, but that's really more work than a hobby.
Right.
Um, Probably something creative. We know in one of the Sonic Boom episodes he got involved in the puppy game uh, that Amy was involved in. So there's that, but probably something old school creative like macrame, which is like advanced crochet, knitting, knot tying, and beads and stuff.
See, when I was writing this question, I was gonna say like it's probably knitting. I feel like it might be knitting.
Something in the textile arts,
Yeah.
quilting perhaps. I don't know.
Very interesting. Number two is on YouTube. Have you ever seen the Sonic real time fan dub?
I, for the same reason of the terms and conditions, no.
Okay, okay.
I have been tangentially dragged into the famous Eggman announcement fan dub. That was enough.
Yeah, that's the one
That
that
was
everyone just wants to brag about. That's the only
that
thing
was
no for
more
sure.
than enough. Thank you.
Yep, yep. Okay. The last question in the gaming section is: do you have a favorite Dr. Eggman plot? Like, have you ever read the script and thought, "Whoa, that's an amazing idea he has"?
No, because most of the time his amazing ideas fail miserably.
True.
So if there was an idea that was successful, that would be something. But otherwise, this can end well again.
I like it. I like it. Okay. So now we're getting into the not the Dr. Eggman questions, but the Mike questions. Okay.
Cool.
So number one is, what are some of your hobbies?
I have a tremendously geeky hobby that has flourished during the lockdown period. I make custom podcasts for the benefit of me and my wife. You can't hear them, but what they are radio shows that we listen to. There are some British show tunes radio stations that play soundtracks from Broadway and the West End musicals that we enjoy. They're not podcasts themselves, but they should be. So I record them. And then I realized that if this was a good podcast, the titles of the tracks would pop up when you play them back. So I uh, snag the playlist from various websites. Sometimes I have to go through and time code manually. Oh, this song starts here. This song starts here. And that's about a good extra half hour for each episode. But by the time we're ready to listen back to it, and we're listening, and I'm watching the titles scroll across the bottom of it, that's pretty cool. I made that. So I do that for at least almost a dozen shows now to various levels of involvement, and it amuses us to no end.
Very impressive. Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. The next question is: do you ever think about doing a cosplay for any of the roles that you are a part of?
If I did, it wouldn't be all of my own doing. If Sega came by and said, "Hey, we want you to dress up for this next appearance," sure, but I'm not about to raid my closet and raid all sorts of costume shops and websites to put a costume together myself. My
Mm,
wife does that for my kids. She'd probably do it for me, but I'd rather it be officially official if it was going to happen.
got it. Okay, that's pretty
Mostly
smart.
because I don't. It's playing favorites, and I don't want to play favorites for one character against the other. Well, if he does this character, why don't you do our character? What the?
That's true. They will start asking questions.
Exactly.
So number three is: have you ever heard of the Sonic Chili Dog G Fuel?
Yes, I remember that Katie and Justin on the Sonic live stream, the Sega live stream, they tried it, and I don't believe it got great reviews. I have not tried it
No.
myself.
If anything, I still have my Sonic G Fuel here, and I have not tried it because I smelled it and I almost threw up.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do,
Nope. It's
but
not
it might fuel your vehicle very well, if not your body.
yeah.
It could be flammable. I don't know. I'm not making any accusations,
I
but
read the ingredients, and I don't think those ingredients are fully listed. Let's just put it like that.
yeah, as soon as the FDA is done clearing vaccines, maybe they'll check that for clearance as well.
Exactly. So number 4 is, do you have any interest in the IDW Sonic comics?
I've looked at them, especially the Sonic Boom ones that were out, but they didn't hold my interest because it's a fine line of it's work without being work. And I know that until someone asks from Sega, "Hey, we're going to voice over the comics now." Oh, cool. But for me, reading it for pleasure, my brain doesn't follow it that way when reading it as an audience member.
Okay.
It takes me back to when I was doing live theater, which I did for many years before I got old and didn't want to stand up so much. Uh, I realized it's great to be in the show, but I'm a much tougher audience member. So I like being on this side of the stage in the curtain.
Got it, got it. And I know, like, when it comes to the IDW Sonic comics, like, they take a different path than the actual games. So, like,
And yeah, and I don't again, I don't want to cloud anyone's judgment. If is that canon, this part of the canon, or the other part of the canon is I don't want to, I don't want to muddy anyone's waters.
so how many times on Twitter has someone, like, reached out to you and saying, like, hey, is this canon? Like, does Dr. Eggman actually do this and that? Like, how many times did...
Always. And
Always.
and as I remind them, I'm not an Eggman scholar. I rely on other people to write the material and hand it to me. I'm not one of the joys of voiceover is not having to remember dialogue. There's a script in front of me. So when the episode is done and I wander away, I'm off to the next thing. So there's not a lot of long-term memory here.
Got it, got it. Okay. Oh, number 5. This is what my chat came up with
Mhm.
when you agreed to the interview, because I was asking them for question ideas. Do you like your eggs scrambled, poached, or boiled?
Poached, if anyone's really interested. I don't see any eggs here, but yeah, poached. Ever since I was a kid.
Okay, okay.
Sweet, just what I
Oh, I just
need.
got sub.
Hi, everyone.
Number 6, another question that the chat came up with, and at first I was like, I'm not gonna ask him this, guys. I thought about it. I was like, I kind of want to know his answer. Which came
Cool.
first, Dr. Eggman or Dr. Chicken Man?
Well, when you mentioned Chicken Man, I'm going to take you back to the late 60s, early 70s to a production by Dick Orkin called Chicken Man. He was a hysterical audio only superhero, and it's hysterically funny. I believe it still exists probably on YouTube. Look for Dick Orkin Chicken Man and call me with your thoughts. No relation to Dr. Eggman, but still just as funny.
Oh man, definitely worth asking that one. Definitely worth
Mhm.
it. And then that is all I have. I did have like 3 other types of questions, but as you said,
Okay.
you can't play favorites. However, there is one that I can ask. Favorite type of drink?
I'm having an iced tea right now only because I was having my Starbucks venti iced Americano earlier today. And there's a street fair going on in front of our nearby Starbucks, so I wasn't going back there today. But if Duncan was not handy, it would be a venti iced Americano from Starbucks.
Hear that, guys? Venti iced Americano. So if you
Mhm.
want to fill out Mike Pollock's wiki, there you go.
Mhm.
And
Starbucks gift cards always appreciated.
so that is all of my questions. If there's any
Cool.
questions that the chat has that's appropriate, then maybe I can ask one. Just one, guys. Just one. I don't want to take up too much of his time. So chat, is there any question that you want to ask the one and only Mike Pollock?
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
The suspense is terrible.
Exactly. They're all thinking. Let's see. I don't want to take the one question. Oh,
Make
boy.
it count.
I know, right? Make it count, guys. Make it count. Don't ask favorites. We can't ask favorites.
You can, but again, for those who haven't heard me say this before, I don't play favorites because it slights all the non-favorites. The legal term is in Latin, which I'm not going to quote, but the expression of one is the exclusion of another. So I don't want to specify. Well, I like this because then if you're watching something, well, he loved this one, but he doesn't like that other thing. That's not his favorite. I love working. Working is my favorite. Unemployment, not a favorite.
No, no one likes that one. Let's see. Everyone keeps asking favorites. So there is. I guess I could ask this one. Have you had any weird fan interactions?
Oh, there was one. We've come to terms, the perpetrator and I, back in the Four Kids days, when the world was open and you could see people in person, more than you can now. Somebody said, "I'm going to be in New York. Can I meet you for coffee?" Well, coffee, sure. Anyone could meet me for coffee because who doesn't love coffee? And my venti iced Americano. So, sure, I'll be at Starbucks, I said, doing some busy work for my day job, using Starbucks as my office away from home, and meet me there before I have to go in and do a session. So this person came in, sat, we chatted, it was fine. And I said, "Well, gotta go, gotta head over to Four Kids, gotta do a thing." "Oh, can you give me a tour?" "Not really. It's a business and they're doing their job. I can't. But here, if you want to walk and follow me to the lobby." I went. We followed. She followed me to the lobby. We went to the lobby. "Hey, great seeing you. Thanks for coming by. Let's say bye." I went up in the elevator, went into the studio to do my thing. When I came out, I learned I had been followed up in the building
Uh-oh.
to the front desk, where she said, "Can I have a tour?"
Oh my god.
I got a lecture from the office manager. He said, "Don't ever do that again." I didn't do it. He wanted it. This is a place of business. Well, yes, it's a place of business. You should be controlling who gets in and who gets out. But I didn't let her in. I didn't. There's a guard down at the front of the. He didn't. I didn't. So yeah, I got a little bit of a lecture. That was very. Don't do
Oh my
that.
god. Dang. So, whoops. So she actually followed you. Do you think like there was something like wrong with her or something?
No, I will give the benefit of the doubt. No, she was just very interested in the tour, and I'd recommend it. If you could have gotten a tour at Four Kids at the time, I'd recommend it. But they didn't really offer tours, except for maybe school groups and special guests. But they certainly didn't offer tours to people off the street. Um, so no, she was just a very eager fan. I think actually she wanted to meet Dan Green, but I can't help it. But he wasn't there at the time, I don't think. But she wanted to see where Dan Green spent his time. So yeah, no,
Okay.
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that,
Boundaries,
people. Don't do that.
boundaries.
Respect like your idols, anyone you find like really like awesome. Just respect like their privacy, respect their boundaries. Like they're human
Well,
beings too. Okay.
as I explain in my rules of fan engagement, which are a great read if you ever want to read them on my website, social media is like your house. You lock your door at night so that strangers don't come wandering into your bedroom. So when people start direct messaging you, it's like, "Why have you shown up in my virtual bedroom? Get out."
There you
So
go.
boundaries. If I'm sitting on the porch, "Hi, I'm waving to you because you're on the porch. Hi, how are you?" "Great. Come sit on the porch." You don't cross the threshold into the home, especially without an invitation. Be like a vampire who can't go into a house unless they're invited.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Life lesson, guys. Life lesson. All right. So that's all the questions we have for you. Is there anything that
Cool.
you want to say to us? Any send off?
Sure. We were discussing Twitter. Find me on Twitter. It's a Mike. My website, it's a Mike.com. Facebook, don't bother. And watch for stuff. There's Sonic future stuff that you can watch out for without being too specific. There is an excellent audio podcast, drama podcast that I'm in called Earth Eclipsed, which is still out on its first episode, and I'm in one of the later episodes, and I don't know when that's coming out yet, but keep an eye out for it. And I'm in all sorts of Funimation stuff lately, so keep an eye out and an ear out. And if I have something I can tell you about, it'll show up on Twitter.
All right. And there you have it, guys. So, Mike, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. I'm still
Sure.
going to do the buy you a coffee thing, so look out for
Excellent.
that. Because, again,
It might be a T, but either one
yeah,
works.
it's been quite the honor to have you here. So, therefore,
Thanks so
I
much.
hope you have a great rest of your Saturday.
Thanks so much, you too, and happy Labor Day weekend,
That's
kids, or
right.
if you're
Yeah.
celebrating.
All right.
Cool.
So, take it
Thank you so
easy.
much. See you.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, my face. Where's my face?